got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
I challenged myself to train like Muhammad Ali. Why? That I'm not so sure about. It seemed like a pretty good idea at the time. In all seriousness, the aim was not only to step into the shoes of one of the greatest athletes of all time, but also to see if I could increase my own endurance, light-footedness and agility. Despite his massive size, Ali was extremely quick on his feet and moved with deceptive gracefulness. You could say he floated like a butterfly even. Something my stiff ass decidedly does not. So I researched the way that Ali trained, and there's not all that much information about it, but there are some recurring themes in the various articles I could find, as well as in all the footage I could find of him. He's always jumping rope, always hitting the heavy bag, and he's doing lots of running. So that's exactly what I'm going to be adding to my training. Not in a bid to challenge myself to train exactly like Ali. I mean, he was a professional athlete, and we don't have that information anyways. The idea is rather just to incorporate those aspects of his training to see what effect it has on my body. So for the last week, I've been training with either shadow boxing or the heavy bag every single day, along with jump rope. Minimum of 15 minutes for each. Even on days where I've been filming other workouts, I've made sure to get them both in. This has been a change from my usual training. It's like half an hour of additional cardio stuff, but for the most part, I've been enjoying it. Lots of boxers use jump rope with their training because it's excellent for keeping you light on your feet, for building that ankle stiffness, and even for things like rhythm and timing and awareness. And of course, it's a relatively low impact way to improve your cardio and burn lots of calories. So with that in mind, for this particular experiment, Crossrope very kindly offered to partner with me. I'll be jumping using their ropes and handles, which have served me extremely well over the last year. I'll be talking more about them later. So yeah, the week of heavy bag work and jump rope, that's been going pretty well so far. But for the next week or more, I'll be turning it up a notch. I'll also be running every single day. While it's impossible to find a precise training routine for Muhammad Ali, apparently he used to run 6 miles, that's nearly 10k, in 40 minutes every single day. I found multiple reports confirming this. This seems a lot though, even for such an incredible athlete. During his fighting career, Ali's weight ranged from 190 to 236 pounds. While I don't doubt that he was capable of running that far or that fast, doing it every single day seems counterproductive. If I was to recommend anyone to run every single day, especially a professional athlete whose chosen activity wasn't running, I'd be saying they should do it slowly as a form of recovery. And whenever you watch footage of Ali running, he does always seem to be going at a gentle pace. Either way, that's the challenge and that's what I'm going to be trying to do. So that's an hour of additional cardio every single day once you add up the bag work and the running. It's a lot of road work and it's greasing the groove with skills training. I'm not new to heavy bag work, running or jump rope, but I train with them all sporadically. I do the occasional gentle run to maintain my running form. It's not my number one choice of cardio. Actually, I alternate my different types of cardio. So I've been jumping rope for about 10 minutes every other week, same for the heavy bag. It's not exactly a focused form of training. Will I see some real gains over the next couple of weeks, or is this going to be too much cardio, too fast, and too much impact for my body? Only time will tell. So what's made this all the more challenging is that I'm continuing to do all this on top of both my regular training and the workouts I need to do for my videos. The first session, which you can see now, was immediately following the filming of my kettlebell workout. Just loads of Turkish get-ups, kettlebell swings, jump squats, and then I had to run around the field. So yeah, it was pretty tiring. And by the way guys, I'm going to be either shadow boxing or hitting a heavy bag. I think Ali did both, but again, I'm not perfectly emulating his training, I'm just including some sort of boxing. Likewise, I'm going to be including kicks in my training as well, because that's what I'm interested in. And that's one of the problems with these kind of challenge videos, is I have my own workout that I still want to stick with, and I have my channel. I have to keep making the other videos, which means doing long, intense workouts. So fitting something in like this is tricky, which is kind of why I want to approach this from that perspective. I'm trying to integrate training that's like Muhammad Ali, rather than doing precisely Muhammad Ali's training. Apart from anything else, we don't know precisely his training. I'm going at a very gentle pace to start with, and that's what I'm going to be keeping up this whole time. I'm just treating it like a form of active recovery, because on top of everything else I'm doing, I don't think anything else is really massively beneficial to me. Hopefully though, this will improve my work capacity a little bit, just from the sheer frequency. Oh yeah. Oh yes, thank you. A very kind guy just reminded me that I left my kettlebells on the field, like an absolute crazy person. So this video was brought to you in association with Crossrope. So for those who aren't familiar with Crossrope, I talk about them a fair bit on the channel. Crossrope make what are, in my opinion, the highest quality jump ropes going. And this does really make a difference. Crossropes are just a world apart, and they make it so much more enjoyable to jump rope, meaning you actually want to do it, meaning you actually get better, meaning you actually get the benefits. They have advanced spin mechanics so that the rope spins really freely and easily in the handle. The ropes themselves are made from a proprietary material that's highly durable, so it won't fray as it's hitting the ground over time, and so it doesn't get tied into knots, and generally it just makes the experience that much better. But beyond that, Crossrope also have some tricks up their sleeve. For one, you can change the ropes out for different ropes of different weights. So this is one of the lighter ones, but you can get weighted ropes, 5 pounds for example, and that way you're not only training your cardio and your endurance and practicing the actual act of jumping rope, you're also training your shoulders and your arms, and you will feel it there fairly quickly if you're jumping rope for 10 minutes or so. This makes it that much more of a full body workout. They also have other advanced features. Their AMP handles, for example, are smart handles that will track the number of jumps you do so that you can follow along with workouts in the app, so it can track your progress. Crossrope have been supporting the channel for ages now. They're great to work with. They also have a 30-day trial period, so if you try the ropes and you don't like them, you can send them back. No questions asked. There's no risk on your part, so you can see the difference for yourself. Oh, and if you use code BIONEER at checkout, then you can also get 15% off your purchase. So check them out. Thanks once again to Crossrope. On with the show. So here I am on day 2, and today I'm doing the RD stuff on top of my regular training, my personal training. That's including a lot of like arched pull-ups and kettlebell swings and some hand balancing, curls. It's a bit of a full body mix I'm doing at the moment. Originally, Muhammad Ali would train at a gym called 5th Street Gym. That became fairly famous, but eventually he'd go on to form his own training camp in Pennsylvania, which he called Fighter's Heaven. Again, pretty badass that he had his own training facility. Ali wasn't known to use weights, like at all. Something I actually really want to challenge. I want to see if I can get as loose as possible and whip-like as possible while still adding lots of muscle. But it's a common belief among fighters. He was known to do a fair amount of core training though. We do leg raises, ab crunches. On top of all this, Ali reportedly ran with heavy boots, and presumably that meant that when he wasn't wearing them, he'd feel a lot more fleet-footed, like real Goku training. Ali would wake really early for his training, around 5:30, and he prayed multiple times a day. He ate a really clean diet, and it generally seems like he had a very regimented lifestyle. I've got no option but to wake early because I'm a parent, but my wife is quite into baking, and she's really good at it, so the clean eating doesn't always happen for me. But hey, I never said that diet was part of the challenge. My left ankle's starting to not feel so good. It's kind of feeling a little bit like swollen and tight, particularly on the inside. This isn't a pre-existing injury, so I have to weigh up now whether I shrug it off, do some stretches and carry on jogging, or whether I walk the rest of the way. I've done 6 kilometers at this point, and it's just an awful lot for it, isn't it? Because I've been doing the jump rope every single day, running every single day, and even, you know, the bag work is really quite heavy on the feet. And then on top of that, I was doing some weird like mobility work for my hips, the other night, which did involve bending the ankles around quite a bit. So yeah, I want to stay true to the challenge, but I also don't want to push it so far today that I have to stop doing it altogether. So I might maybe just lower the pace, see how it goes, and then I'll decide whether to stop or whether to resume. Wish me luck. So I did carry on the run, ankle feeling a lot better, kind of has moved onto the side of my foot a little. So I think what I was doing with the mobility stuff was a lot of internal rotation work. Possibly that caused my ankle to tilt a bit more than usual today, creating pressure on that inside of the left foot. So hopefully it's not going to be too sore tomorrow and I can still run. But that's tomorrow Adam's problem. So just finished, that was 10 kilometers in 59 minutes, so not as fast as Muhammad Ali, which is incredible when you think how big he is. But you know, I'm glad I can still do that without too much training. So after all that, I then had to go and do more jump rope and shadow boxing. I did a slightly smaller amount today because my calves feel stretched and my cardio's a bust and I'm just aching everywhere at the moment. So yeah, going a bit easier on myself. I've been practicing this, I can't remember what it's called, Batjutsu step. We kind of move quickly from one direction to another, and depending on how that looks when I look back at the footage, I'll decide whether or not to include that. But yeah, it's knackering. Hit myself in the gooch. The daily running has been a bit much, I'm not going to lie. I was happy I could still do a 10k out of the blue, but I'm not going to pretend I'll be carrying that forwards after this programme. What I can say is that I have really enjoyed the jump rope. Now I'm not just saying that because Crossrope sponsored this video, although that is fairly convenient. I'm saying it because I've actually had a breakthrough in terms of my technique and skills. I'm sure some of you guys in the comments are going to tell me that my form is still shit, but I can personally see and feel a huge improvement from when I started this. Look at me here trying to do the crossover. This is just a couple of weeks ago when I started this. And then look at me here, I can now land it nearly every single time and it feels really rewarding.
I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right, I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock.
Right now, I'm not so much floating like a butterfly as floating like a slug. Okay guys, so it's 1 week since the experiment ended. How do I think it went? Well, terribly, actually. I actually finished the experiment early. I got really injured, so my back started to really hurt. And I was really worried at one point that I'd re-injured my old back injury. Some of you might know that I've been dealing with chronic back pain for a number of years. I kind of fixed it, and then this seemed to completely reignite it. So my theory was that by doing all of the kind of intense internal rotation mobility work that I mentioned that wasn't a part of this, on top of lots and lots of running, on top of my regular workouts, on top of the jump rope and the boxing, and filming my videos, the kettlebell stuff, it was just a bit too much. And yeah, I woke up on Saturday and I had immense pain in my lower back, I had pain in my knee, I had pain in my ankle, so not good. And I decided to call it quits there. I went for an emergency appointment with my chiropractor so she could give me some relief. But she said it wasn't related, it was just, you know, too much too soon, and that she'd expect anyone to have the same reaction to that kind of training. I gotta say, on the one hand, I kind of agree, but on the other hand, I mean, I once ran the equivalent of 60 miles over the course of 3 days as part of a project I was working on. And that was fine. That was without a lot of training, but that was also 5 years ago, and I am getting a bit older. So who knows? I think just the running would have been fine, or just the heavy bag and the jump rope were actually doing really good things, I think. I really enjoyed using them as part of my workout, but doing all of it together, that just proved to be a little bit too much. Thankfully, a week later, and I'm pretty much healed up now. So yeah, a bit of a twist ending that. You don't normally see on these challenge videos. People just say, bad idea, don't do it. But that's pretty much the conclusion of this one. And that's why I don't normally do challenge videos. What can I take out of this that's positive? Well, like I say, I really benefited from the increased amount of jump rope. I was doing the jump rope and I was doing the punching, you know, for about a week and a half prior to starting the running as well. So they got a lot of extra stuff. Yeah, you can really see a bit of a difference with the jump rope, and I'm really enjoying it more because I'm seeing that progress. So I'm going to keep that as now, I think, my main #1 warm-up, and I'm going to do more heavy bag work as well because I've really seen some progress there. And again, I think even in the short space of time, if you watch my footage at the start of this experiment and at the end, there's been some improvement. So yeah, just greasing the groove that way, that's something I'm keeping. And actually increasing my skills training in general is something I'm keeping. And that's a fun and enjoyable way to get in that extra cardio. The running, on the other hand, I'm going to keep doing how I was doing before. Little runs, recovery runs, and big runs once every now and then, just to make sure that I've still got those biomechanics down, that I can still go the distance when I want to. Muhammad Ali said that he actually hated every minute of his training, and with all that road work, who can blame him? But I would also say this is a bit of a cautionary tale to not believe everything that you read. So all these articles saying that he ran 6 miles every single day, I really don't think that's true. And actually, I managed to find the root of that misconception, which is that he used to live about 7 miles away from 5th Street Gym, where he trained as a boxer, and he used to run there when he couldn't get a ride. So that's where he was running regularly that distance, but it wasn't every single day. He trained 6 days a week. He wasn't even running that distance, I don't think, 6 days a week, and he certainly wasn't doing it to some time, like 40 minutes. And what I think happens here is you have a case of Chinese whispers, where someone says, you know, Muhammad Ali used to run to his gym, and then someone else assumes that means he ran every day. That goes into one article or one Quora answer. Suddenly it's all over the web and everyone believes it. So yeah, you need to take these things with a pinch of salt. Not to say he wasn't an incredible athlete, and all of that jump rope, all of that shadow boxing, all of that sparring, boxing, all of that running, obviously would have given him an incredible work capacity, cardio engine, and I think we can all learn from that. That's something we should all do. And I will also say that I have benefited from the increased cardio. I went for a quick run the other day. I was sprinting after something and I didn't get tired as quickly as I normally would. That might seem a bit extreme after like 2.5 weeks of extra cardio at the start of my workouts and a few runs, but in fact, cardio is one of the things that develops the quickest. It also falls off the quickest, but yeah, you can see results fairly quickly. So yeah, like I say, doing that kind of skills work, doing the jump rope, doing the heavy bag stuff as a form of cardio that's also teaching you to move your body in different ways and making it fun, I think is great. Running, I'm personally going to do as a form of recovery. Running is great too, but you can overdo it, and especially if you're balancing it with other things. Oh, and of course, it does also just once again go to show what an incredible athlete that Muhammad Ali really was. And looking through the old footage, seeing not only the way he moved, but also how sharp he was, how funny he was, how witty he was, how he stood up for what he believed. There's an awful lot to learn from Muhammad Ali, and it has been really inspiring to me. And yeah, look into it, and hopefully it'll be inspiring to you too. Thanks again to Crossrope who made this video possible. You can find the link in the description down below. But the other takeaway is that doing a crazy challenge like this, and then doing it on top of your regular training without changing anything, is just flat out a bad idea. So yeah, bad idea, don't do it. Bye for now.
Hospitalize a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.